Well, welcome back. Mr. Obsolete here. Today our video is going to be talking about, hobbies. And, our main hobby is collecting engines and motors and everything that goes along with them. But we do have a few other hobbies. And so, a couple of videos ago we talked about our Stover grist mill here. And grist mill products and things they've made and household supplies and all kinds of other things. But how I got introduced to them is through gasoline engines. They made gas engines from around 1885, I believe, until 1942. And the first two I ever ran into was both when I was a kid. I was in the 6th grade, and there was a farm about a half-mile from us, and they had a pond. They used to run cattle there, and they had a 2-horse Stover out on a little walkway and right in the middle of this pond, and they would pump water up to the different fields for the cows and watering and whatnot. And they'd quit using it, but I was so fascinated with it, and they'd let me go down and run it if I could figure out how to do it. And I used to go down and run it all the time. And then we moved out of the area, and then the next Stover I had was when I was in high school. It was a CT series, and we'll show you a picture of what they look like here in a bit. Anyway, my dad decided he wanted a patio extension, and the soil where we lived at the time was like digging rocks, and so it took us a whole summer to get it cleared out. But he didn't want to spend any money on a cement mixer and a bunch of stuff that we'd use once. And one of his friends in the church said, "Hey, I got an old cement mixer you can have." And so he towed it over, and it was probably made in the late 20s. Had hard rubber tires on it, and had a great big drum, and it had a Stover CT series engine on it. And when I was in high school, I had a little bit of background on mechanical stuff, but I'd talked to my teacher at high school there for the automotive class I was attending, and he gave me some tips on what to look for, and he'd apparently worked on these engines before. So anyway, I got it running. We mixed up a bunch of batches of cement and finished the patio. And then there again we moved from the southern part of the country up to here. So anyway, just wanted to talk about how that things combine together. Like Stover, like I say, engines were the thing that I was familiar with, and when I started delving into the history, they made all kinds of other stuff, windmills and stuff. And I'd go back and watch one of our older videos from recently, and we talk about all the different things. And so anyway, the thing that I found are some C-clamps, and these were made by Stover. And if you look real close here, the threads on them are really coarse. That's what's called an Acme thread, and that was real popular early part of the century. And later years they used fine threads on them. But this is all cast iron, not cheap crummy pot metal like today. And you can see the real ornate handle there. And the nice thing about these coarse threads like this is it moves really quickly. So in modern ones, you got to sit there and spin them and spin them and spin them, and of course then it has the movable tip here to center itself. But it's so nice when you use antique stuff like that compared to the new crap. It's all made in China. It's like night and day. These have been around probably for probably 60, 70, 80 years or more. Still perfectly usable. So the next thing that they made was stuff for in the houses, for in the kitchen and stuff. Now here it says right on there, Stover Junior number 8. And what the heck is that? Well, I'll show you. It's a waffle iron for little bitty waffles there. I think it was actually made for children, but it's for big kids like us too. But anyway, what you would do, the bottom here would take, and on coal and wood stoves they used to have a metal plate, and you'd take a handle and take it off if you want to put a pot on or something like get direct heat. Well, this would fit over that opening, and so the heat would come right onto this. And so when you'd open this up and put your batter in, Then you close it up, put it on the stove, you wait about 3 minutes, lift this up and turn it over, cook it for another 3 minutes, take it off the stove, and mini waffle. Now this next device I'm going to show you, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it was made by Stover. And right in here it says Stover. And it's open in here, and it has a blade, and it's a kitchen utensil. And so all you old timers out there, I'm going to see how many of you can figure out what the heck this is. So the other thing we're going to talk about a little bit is the grist mill again. I'd talked about how they work before, but didn't really have anything apart to show you here. So these plates here have teeth on them, and they open pretty wide up here and get smaller as they come out towards the edge. And like I say, the teeth, they open wide and get smaller as they go towards the outside, and there's 2 of these in each one of these. And one of them is bolted stationary, and the other one bolts to the crank shaft here and turns, and so you have the 2 of them together like this, and then the adjustment on the back here, you can turn it in to get a finer cut. So basically what it does is takes 2 of these and moves it closer, and we'll go out and demonstrate it better than I did in the last video on these. But anyway, the other thing too is I got some rust on here, and I've been experimenting with evapor rust to see if it's a whiz bang that everybody thinks it is or not. So we'll give you a report on that coming up soon. So before we go out and do this, I want to talk about one last thing here. I haven't done any axe videos for quite a while, and recently we found this one here, and it says Brown Camp Hardware Stores, and it's from Iowa, and it says IOA here, special. And so we'll come over and take a really good close-up picture of this. But the thing at this axe is pretty unusual. I think it was probably made by Kelly for them, but you know, it's in pretty decent shape. But when they have a nice logo like this and stuff, I hate to go out and use them for chopping up wood and stuff, so I'm going to do a over restoration on this and make it into a show axe. So anyway, we'll come over and take a picture here, and then we'll head out and do some grinding on the grist mill. Okay, well, we got our Stover number 32 grinder all set up. Of course, we got to use our antique Stover C-clamp to hold it in place. Okay, we're going to grind some corn, so what I'll do is start doing coarse, and then we'll keep making it finer and show you what it looks like. Now, there's an auger screw in here that pushes the corn or grain, whatever you're grinding in here, into those 2 plates, and then you can adjust the distance between those 2 plates with this. Okay, well, we'll start with a fairly coarse grind. Some of these didn't get ground very much, but most of them are cut up pretty good. Okay, so we'll turn this in some more. Here we can see we've got a whole lot finer grind there. And there we go, a whole lot finer grind there. We'll tighten it up some more. This wheel locks it in position. One thing too is that the finer the grind, it takes longer to cut them up. So a little bit more and we'll almost have flour. Nice fine flour. So anyway, it's amazing to me that, you know, the simple things that they used to make that were so great, this thing still cuts and works great. And the newest this thing can be is 1913. They made them from 1883 until the later date there. And like I say, it works great. So there you have it. Vintage is best. One thing we'll do before too long too is we'll show you how to get the corn off the cobs there when it's dry. We'll go from the raw corn, take it off the cob, grind it, and use it. See you soon. Vintage is definitely best.